Come on in, tap the screen, share the live.
At Fiverr, we know that vibe coding can be a lot of fun until it's not. From back-end integration.
Come on in, tap the screen, share the live. Malik's here. Come on in, tap the screen, share the live, tap the screen. Your taps make this happen.
Should I talk?
Hi,
Hello, how are you?
how old are you?
21,
What year were you born?
March 31st, 2005.
All right.
I think that Trump makes America a better country, and trust me, I know I went to Brown, all right?
Okay.
I mean, let's start by deportation first. Like, I think that pretty much we should get rid of all the Mexicans and people that come from South America. They're really just the worst.
Can you show me a statistic for that?
Yeah, the statistic is that they're just the worst.
Okay.
I
There's
mean,
really nothing I can do with that.
well, I'm Native American, so obviously, like, I'm native here, and like, it's kind of just as simple as like if you came to my house and I didn't want you there, like,
Yeah, that was more. Couldn't do that with that anyway.
Hi,
Hey,
how you doing?
how old are you?
24.
Are you in a grocery bag?
My bed.
Are your sheets made of wax?
They're made of yeah.
Okay. What's up?
Actually, I don't even, you seem too nice to debate. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Oh man. Okay. This is the same person.
Hello.
Nope. No. 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 Tap the screen, guys. Share the live. Tap the screen. Share the live. Guys, send the Go Populars. The Go Populars help to push us up in the algorithm. When you tap on the gifts, they'll be the exclusive ones, and they're 1 penny. So you want to send those and also your heart me's. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Oh my God, thank you. You guys are the best. Thanks for the Go Pops. All right, back to your news. Because I was in my bag for a little minute. All right. The Trump administration is escalating its efforts to economically isolate Iran, threatening President threatening what President Trump has called a quote, economic D-Day. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the United States intends to impose extraordinarily tough sanctions on as Washington tries to increase pressure in Tehran. And the strategy isn't necessarily limited to Iran itself. The United States is threatening secondary sanctions against countries, businesses, and financial networks that continue helping Iran trade. But inside, the consequences of the broader economic crisis are already becoming severe. Grocery stores in Tehran may still have food on their shelves, but increasingly, ordinary Iranians can't afford to buy it. So, inflation, currency collapse, job losses, sanctions, war, obviously. Restrictions affecting oil and shipping. The Iranian currency has lost significant value, meaning workers can receive roughly the same paycheck while their purchasing power collapses. Some economic forecasts put Iranian inflation around 70%, while the economy is expected to contract significantly. That means basic goods, food, medicine, and household necessities are increasingly difficult for ordinary families to afford. Gasoline remains heavily subsidized, making it one of the major exceptions, but the broader economic pressure is intense. Iran responded. And Iran said, that lets us know that you failed militarily. You couldn't fight us head up. So now you want to try to fuck up our economy. Cool. It was already fucked up. You came over here shooting. You came over here bombing shit. You didn't think we thought this wasn't going to happen? Right? Like, what did you think? So now, because you couldn't fight us, you want to put sanctions on businesses and countries? Oh, we got you mad, Mr. Trump. So that's how that went. So now they just kind of lip servicing back and forth, but still no negotiations on the table as of right now. No talks that are planned that I was able to find. And as of August the 9th, I'm sorry, wait, today, hold on, let me look back. Yes, August the 9th was when Donald Trump said that there were no longer talks planned with Iran, and Iran also verified that information. So, in other news, a court says that the Trump-aligned federal prosecutor who was serving illegally, blocking subpoenas targeting Letitia James. A federal appeals court has delivered another major setback to the Trump administration's investigations involving one of President Trump's most prominent political adversaries, New York Attorney General Letitia James. The Second Circuit Court of Appeals ruled 2-1 that John Sarcone III was not lawfully serving as the acting U.S. attorney for the Northern District of New York. And that has a direct consequence. The Justice Department cannot reinforce subpoenas Sarcone issued seeking information from James's office. Those subpoenas involved investigations connected to cases James brought against Donald Trump and the National Rifle Association. Sarcone was selected by the Trump administration to serve as the top federal prosecutor based in Albany, but there's a constitutional and statutory compilation with U.S. attorneys. They normally require Senate confirmation. Federal law does allow temporary appointments, but those temporary arrangements have limits. Sarcone initially served under an interim appointment that lasted 120 days. When that period expired without Senate confirmation, the administration attempted to keep him in place through other Justice Department titles and appointments. The appeals court concluded that maneuver didn't work. The majority found that the Justice Department had effectively tried to circumvent federal vacancy laws designed to prevent administrations from indefinitely installing officials without going through the Senate confirmation process. That makes the ruling bigger than Sarcone personally. It concerns the balance between two branches of government. the president's power to choose executive officials versus the Senate's constitutional role in confirming major appointments. Sarconi had issued subpoenas to James's office seeking information connected to two major matters. One involved James's civil fraud case against Trump and his business empire. That case originally resulted in a massive financial judgment against Trump. Another subpoena involved James's investigation of the National Rifle Association, also known as the NRA. The Justice Department had been examining potential civil rights violations connected to those cases. No charges resulted from the subpoenas. James has denied wrongdoing and has characterized investigations targeting her as politically motivated retaliation. Trump and his allies have strongly criticized James for years over her investigations and litigations against him. The administration disputes the appeals court rulings, and the Justice Department is expected to try to take the fight to the Senate Supreme Court. Why does this matter? Obviously, we want to know. This isn't just a technical argument over somebody's job title. Federal prosecutors have extraordinary power. They can issue subpoenas, open investigations, convene grand juries, and seek indictments, and potentially put people in prison. So the question of who legally holds that authority matters big time. The Trump administration tried to keep Sarconi functioning as the region's top federal prosecutor after his temporary appointment expired. The appeals court answer was essentially, you can't bypass Senate confirmation systems simply by changing the title. And there is an immediate political consequence. An investigation involving one of Trump's most prominent adversaries has now been disrupted because the prosecutor behind key subpoenas was found to be serving unlawfully. The ruling does not establish that Letitia James did nothing wrong, nor does it permanently prohibit the Justice Department from investigating her through properly authorized officials. What it says is much narrower, but extremely consequential. If the federal government wants to use the enormous powers of the U.S. attorney, the person exercising those powers has to be there legally. And now the Trump administration may ask the Supreme Court to decide whether this appeals court got the answer right. So, because I write down the news before I give it to people. I have to remember figures and numbers and positions and things like that. Why don't you come up and talk to me then? Does anybody else use like notes in their everyday life? Am I just like the only person that does that? Breaking news. Second. Hi.
What's up?
You have a bit of an echo on your side.
Are you sure it's not on your side?
I'm certain.
Okay. So I take it you're against Trump. What's Trump doing wrong?
You came up here.
Can you hear me now?
I could hear you before.
Okay. I thought you said come off mute. All right. So what's Trump doing wrong?
No, I was saying, it says prove me wrong. What is Trump doing right?
He's doing everything right.
Okay, well, I can't argue everything. I need specifics.
What about the Iran war?
Okay, what's right about it?
He's stopping them from having a nuclear weapon. Iran has sponsored all these terrorist groups, everything else over these years. And how many thousands of people have they killed over the past 40 years? Everybody has just let them slide. You go back and you look at Nancy Pelosi, you look at all these people in there, Chuck Schumer. They're all saying, we got to get them Iran under control. We got to get them under control. Now we got a president with some balls, and he's getting them under control. Are we not?
No.
So, how do you figure not?
Where's the proof that they were
Oh, no, wait a
advancing their
second.
nuclear
You
weapons
asked me a
program?
question, I answer a question, and you keep saying, "Where's the
Actually,
proof? Where's the
actually, hold on, hang on.
Prove me
Actually,
wrong.
if you actually said you asked me a question, and I answered your question, and then I asked you a question, and now you're cutting me off after I just listened to you.
proof?" Really?
Mm-hmm.
So you make a statement. You have yet to make a statement other than say, "Prove me wrong." Prove me.
Yes, because I was letting
That's
you
what you
finish
think.
your statement.
So every time I ask you a question, you say, "Prove me wrong." That's what you say. So,
What?
all right. What about
So do you
terror?
want to answer my question?
What
No,
about
no, no,
terror?
no.
What
We're not
about
going to move
terrorists?
past what you just said. No, we're going to go. We can talk about tariffs in just a moment. I don't know what's happening, but you have an echo, and it's really bad.
Oh, hang on a second. I think I figured it out. Hang on. Can you hear me now?
I could hear you before. I just
Hang on.
okay. That's better. I don't have an echo now. Okay, my question was specifically, where's the proof that Iran was building a nuclear weapon?
Where's the proof?
Mm-hmm.
Do you trust Iran? You know they'd like to kill us all, right? You know this.
Why? Because they said death to America.
Yes.
Do you know what that means?
Yes, death to America means they're going to kill us if we never chance they
Not
get.
what that means.
Okay, so if I come to your neighborhood and I see you, and I walk up to you and tell you, I'm going to kill you the first chance I get, I'm going to kill
That's not
you.
what they said.
They want death to America, do they not?
Do you understand what death to America means?
They're going to kill us.
Nope.
What's it mean?
But before we jump topics, I want to go back to where we were.
Educate me.
Yeah,
and tell me
before
what
we
it
jump
means.
topics, I'm happy to talk about that. Let's talk
No,
about what
wait,
we
wait,
were
wait,
talking
wait, wait.
about.
No, explain
You
to me.
specifically said, I will explain it to you after we're done talking about what we were just talking about, friend.
Okay.
What I said, what I asked you, you said that they were going to build a nuclear weapon. Where is the proof of that?
They have, by satellite, they can see that they're getting towards it. Because they can
Who?
pick it up. You realize
Who can
that?
see that?
The U.S. government can see it.
Huh? Really? Let me ask you this. When did the JCPOA end?
The what?
The JCPOA?
What's that?
The Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action that gave us access to Iran and allowed for our military to go in at any time, at any place. We had cameras directly there where we could watch and see if they were advancing nuclear weapons. We had full access to all of their nuclear facilities, which we built, by the way, throughout the 70s. So I'm trying to understand specifically when Tulsi Gabbard said that they were not advancing nuclear weapons, when Joe Kent said that they were not advancing nuclear weapons and advancing their nuclear program before he resigned, which were two of the national intelligence directors. I'm trying to understand what you say when you say that they were building a nuclear weapon, because our national intelligence of the United States of America said that wasn't happening.
Is that the woke version or is that the new version?
No, these are Trump appoint. This is Trump's directors of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Kent. They were appointed by Trump.
That is not actual fact.
Sir, do you want me to give you a source for these things? I thought this was pretty common knowledge. We watched the world watched the oversight hearings for Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Kent's resignation letter from him leaving and saying, hey, because of the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu has come over and told you something that was inaccurate and we have no intelligence on, we are now at war and our service members are dying. Do you not understand? Wait. Okay.
Do you really think you can believe everything the far left puts out there as propaganda? Do you not think?
Listen, I don't really care about the left and right thing. I care about the truth. The whole left and right thing is what has all of us up in arms right now. And I don't subscribe to political parties, so that's not even an argument I like to have. I think it's stupid and it keeps us all divided and stops us from having conversations. So let's not do that. What I'm talking about specifically is Donald Trump's appointed directors of national intelligence, his National Intelligence Committee, Tulsi Gabbard and Joe Kent, who were hired by Donald Trump, appointed by him, confirmed by the Senate, and put into their positions. They told the Oversight Committee, which was a majorly Republican committee, that there was no advancement of weapons, that there was no advancements of.
Bring a source up for it. Bring a source.
Oh my God, are we serious?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and read Joe Kent's resignation letter.
Resignation letter. Wait, his resignation letter?
President Trump, after much reflection, I have decided to resign my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center effective today. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. I support the values and the foreign policies that you campaigned on in 2016, 2020, and 2024, which you enacted in your first term. Until June of 2025, you understood that the wars in the Middle East were a trap that robbed America of the precious lives of our patriots and depleted the wealth and prosperity of our nation. In your first administration, you understood better than any modern president how to decisively apply military power without getting us drawn into never-ending wars. You demonstrated this by killing Qasem Soleimani and by defeating ISIS. Early in this administration, high-ranking Israeli officials and influential members of the American media deployed a misinformation campaign that wholly undermined your America First platform and sowed pro-war sentiments to encourage a war with Iran. This echo chamber was used to deceive you into believing that Iran posed an imminent threat to the United States and that you should strike now. There was a clear path to a swift victory. This was a lie and is the same tactic the Israelis used to draw us into the disastrous Iraq war that cost our nation the lives of thousands of our best men and women. We cannot make this mistake again. As a veteran who deployed to combat 11 times and as a Gold Star husband who lost my beloved wife Shannon in a war manufactured by Israel, I cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people, nor justifies the cost of American lives. I pray that you will reflect upon what we are doing in Iran and who we are doing it for. The time for bold action is now. You can reverse course and chart a new path for our nation, or you can allow us to slip further toward the decline and chaos. You hold the cards. It was an honor to serve in your administration and to serve our great nation. Joseph Kent, Director of National Counterterrorism Center.
Okay. That is the voice of one person.
The Director of Counterterrorism.
That is one
Okay, let's look up
person's
Tulsi Gabbard,
voice.
because Tulsi Gabbard also said the same thing.
You know what? But the reality of it is, we all
No.
know it's right.
You said that was the voice of one person. These were the people that were over that. This was literally their jobs to make sure that these things didn't happen,
That
right?
was
No.
their opinion.
See, the thing is, you're
Yes or
holding
no?
on. You came here with
No, all you want, but that's just one person. One person.
What was that person's job, dear? What was their job? You're muted.
Why don't you back the president of the United States? He was fairly
We're still
elected.
having a no. We're still having a conversation about Iran. If you don't want to concede, you can concede, and we can move on to the next thing.
No, I'm not going to concede because it was the right thing to do.
Okay, well then show me. Show me where we had intelligence that they were building a nuclear weapon.
Do you think you can trust them?
That's not.
They've
I
been
debate.
killing-
But hey,
they've been killing Americans for how many
My
years?
conversations stop. My conversations are based on facts, not conspiracy theories, not bumper sticker rhetoric. We can have a conversation based on facts and empirical information, but having a conversation based on your feelings is a waste of my time.
Wasted your time?
And I think it's a
Yeah.
waste of yours too.
You
Because what
don't-
you're doing is
you
you're sitting
don't
here
think
and
we
you're trying
want
to
move
confirm
on
you're trying to
this way.
confirm your bias, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
You don't think they want to kill American citizens?
Do you know what Death to America means? When they
Yes, I
actually
do.
wrote out what, okay, tell me what it means.
It means they want to kill America. They want America.
Show me
to
where it
come
says
to an
that.
end. They want everything we believe in to come to an end. Just like you got all these other.
Tell me where it
backgrounds
says
in this
that. Tell me
country.
where you can find that. Where I can find that.
you know what's going to come down to? Is someday we're going to be having this.
Is he trying to run?
There we go.
There we go. What? So Death to America. When did it become? When was it popularized?
It's been popular for probably about 30 or 40 years by now.
Since 1979. What happened in 1979?
1979. Let's see if I can remember. Would have been 79.
The Iranian Revolution.
1979. I would have been in like 7th or 8th grade in 79.
Yeah. So what it means is down with the oppressive imperialism of the American government, because the American government has gone into many lands and destabilized their lands, Iran being one of them. And so with that said, Iran actually has come out multiple times and said, we don't have an issue with the American people. We have no issues with the American people at all. We understand that you're living under those laws. And so with that being said, the imperialistic laws of your land are harming other people. And that is why they say death to America. It is death to American imperialism, not people. But the way that it's been framed with the propaganda that they give you says that they want to kill you. And that's not the case at all.
Okay. I'm going to say, yes, you are right on that for the turnover of power at that time. But even if you go back in Trump's history, when he's done interviews even long before he was ever president, he said, we got to deal with Iran.
Yeah, that's what Trump said. Trump, the person who had no access to national intelligence, the person who was just making the same claims that people like you and I make, because we're regular citizens who have feelings about how we feel about them. But the truth of the matter is, we went in initially and did a regime change. We westernized them when they didn't want to be westernized. We took their resources. We continued to take from them over and over and over again. We threw sanctions on them over and over and over again. They've never attacked us on American soil. Ever. As a matter of fact, when it came down to the JCPOA, which was the agreement that America had with Iran to be able to make sure that they weren't advancing their nuclear weapon system, according to the IAEA, they were cooperative the whole entire time. So with that said, it's really interesting that you are telling me that I am propagandized when I can give you sources for everything that I'm looking at and the history that I know based on the fact that I grew up having to know this information.
If you look at the Obama era, they paid them off. We paid them off. We
didn't pay them off. That's not what happened. No, we didn't. Okay, prove it.
We paid them off.
I'm asking you to prove it.
We wrote checks to them for.
Great, love it. Okay, you're the first person to not say pallets of cash, but that's nice of you. But no, see, you're wrong again, because the thing about it is, what we did was we said, in exchange for us having unlimited access to your nuclear facilities and making sure that you don't advance your nuclear programs or build a nuke. No, can I finish, please?
You not. You just.
I would like to finish. Excuse me.
Access the nuclear plant.
What I specifically said was America had all of the rights to be able to go into their nuclear facilities. We had 24/7 access to everything. In exchange for that, we had an arms deal that was done in the 70s, and we said, if you give us that, in exchange for that, we will give you the money from that arms deal that we stole from you. And so when that happened,
you're admitting that we give them piles of cash then.
We gave them money that belonged to them. It wasn't our money. Have you not seen that? You can actually go to the EIA, and you can take a look at that exchange yourself, and you'll see, and also the United States Treasury, you'll see that money didn't belong to us.
Okay. So
Same thing we did to Haiti when we went into their bank, took $500 million and said, we're just going to keep it. Still haven't given them that money back.
No, should we?
No, we just stole it. We just went in and stole it. We didn't have a reason. We just did it.
Yeah, that's good.
I know you think so. But again, I can't argue your humanity, friend. I can only argue the facts.
No, but the thing is, the fact is, we go into all these different countries and we pay, the United States taxpayers pay for their protection, and they don't want to pony up the money.
Who?
Oh, look at NATO. What do you think Trump did with NATO?
What is NATO?
NATO is all these different countries. So we just said that, you know what? If you don't
Who
want to
pays
pay
the money?
for
Wait, who
insurance-
pay what when we pay into NATO? Let me ask you a question. How much of a country's GDP are they supposed to pay into NATO?
I think it's like 5%.
2. And then when it goes into
Trump
no,
is
it's
bringing
2.
up-
It's
Trump's
2.
trying to bring it up 5.
Yeah.
Trump
So
wants to bring it up.
every president has gotten, most presidents have gotten a commitment, but it's just a commitment. There is no legal framework. There's no binding legal agreements that are happening in NATO that say that
Okay.
we have to up it. That's not a thing, and you can look that up too.
When NATO got
So here's the
started-
thing.
When NATO
Yeah,
got started,
and that's great. My question to you specifically is if you're talking about, see, here's the thing. They've got you upset about nothing. When you pay into NATO, that 2% that you pay in of your GDP, what are you paying it into?
protection of all these other countries.
Nope.
Yeah, we are.
Actually, you're not. Every country that pays into NATO is paying into their own militaries. You're just a
You're
part of
not.
NATO. Yes,
You're
that's
not.
exactly what you're doing.
If you
Show me
look-
different. Show me different. Show me different. Show me different.
You go back to World War II.
I want you to show me different. I want you to go.
When
No,
NATO
because
got
I've let
started-
you. Hey, friend, I have let you
when the
multiple
United
times
States
make
got started
claims.
in NATO,
I've let you make a lot of claims that aren't true, and I keep correcting them. Now it's time for you to show me your proof, because I've given you proof of everything I've said. I have no reason to lie to you. So my question to you is, I want you to show me your source that says that that we pay into everybody else's military, because that's not how NATO works.
yes, it is.
Okay. Well, we can't go off of just your opinion here. So, do you want to go to your next point?
Your next point is, United States used to be number 1 for wealth. Now we're like number 20 something for wealth, and we still pay the vast majority of the NATO expense for military. The United States protects all these countries at our taxpayer expense, and that is the truth.
Show me that.
You know-
Show me the proof.
You know that is the truth.
Show me the proof.
You know it's true.
Show me the proof.
So why do you want to make the United States look like a deadbeat? Because we're the ones flipping the bill. When you
Who's
say-
footing the
when
bill for
people
what?
say- when you go to people,
You're making an argument based on something that's not true, and so I can't argue something that's not true, and I'm not going to do that.
Do you
So
believe in
again,
tariffs?
I'm not going to do that.
Do you believe in tariffs?
What is a tariff?
We tax anything made out of United States. It coming into the United States, we put a tariff on it.
Who pays that tariff?
The companies selling to the United States pay the tariff
No,
because they'll pay a vast majority of the tariffs, or they'll
Incorrect.
pay all of it because they can't be
No.
competitive if they don't.
not how that works.
Yes, it is.
Comparative advantage doesn't work that way. That's number one. Number
Okay,
two,
so- no,
if we're
number
talking
one
about
is-
tariffs, hold on. I just
Now,
listened
wait,
to you.
wait, wait,
hey,
wait.
hey,
You
no,
talk
you,
about
you. I
tariffs.
asked you specifically what tariffs were. You gave me the information, and now I'm telling you that it's wrong. So,
Why is it
with
wrong?
that being said, right? Tariffs are
wrong?
paid by the importer. So that means that if I buy something from China, China isn't paying that tariff. I am, right, as the importer. So when that comes into the country, I don't have to. I have to pass that cost down to my consumer, which means that the American people are going to be the ones who pay the tariff. So I don't necessarily understand what you're talking about when you say tariffs.
See, when you say tariffs, that the American people have to pay it. So you say it's wrong because it puts more burden on the American citizen. So why are all these countries, Canada's the worst, all these countries put huge tariffs on American products to get sold?
What did they
to
put
their
tariffs
country?
on?
They put tariffs on everything.
What?
They'll put them on cars. They'll put them on parts. They'll put them on your shoes. This and this. They impose tariffs.
98% of the
on-
shoes that we wear in the United States come from India.
I say that's wrong. But
No, that's that's
tariffs.
globalism.
All these countries put tariffs on the United States products.
What
They
are
do.
you talking about?
All countries. You look at China. You look at this. You look at Canada. On fuel, this, dairy
Why?
products.
Wait, tell me.
Canada, no.
Let me ask you a
They'll put
question.
tariffs on everything.
Great. You okay? So you're okay with tariffs that the American people have had to pay, and if they were actually a good thing, then why did the Supreme Court say they were unconstitutional? And are you familiar with the GATT?
That is gonna get changed.
It's not.
It will be changed.
It's the Supreme Court, sir.
Okay, so the Supreme Court's that'll be changed coming up here shortly.
Where is it being litigated?
So explain this to me then. So how can other countries put tariffs on us, and we shouldn't put tariffs on them?
Because they're making prices higher for their people. Why do we give a fuck about them making prices higher for their people?
So basically, what you want to do is, do you believe in bringing production of products back to the United States?
No, not if we don't want. Not if we don't have the infrastructure to do so. That's a waste.
How do you figure it's a waste?
We have to fix
How do
the
you think-
infrastructure
how do you
first.
think America's
Why don't we?
citizens
Hey,
should
you
agree?
ask me questions and you just keep on going. Why do you keep doing that? Are you okay? You sound like an older
No,
fella.
I want to know. Because you're saying no
Hey,
tariffs.
quick
we should not
question.
put any tariffs.
Hey.
So you want
Let me ask
American
you.
jobs
Hey,
to go
can I ask you a
overseas.
question? How old are you?
I'm 60 years old.
Okay. Do you see how at 36 years old I have a lot more composure than you do? I need you to slow down. This is a conversation. It's not a race, right? We can talk, but we don't have to do that.
Okay. Explain to me how you want no production jobs in the United States.
Because we're building a more educated country. Our children don't want to work in factories. They want to be able to build businesses. They want to be able to have trades. Why don't we put those back in high school so that kids can actually come out as entrepreneurs and not employees? I'm answering your
Do
question.
you realize
You're talking about putting kids in factories, the same factories that had our parents hunched over and now have our parents getting back and neck surgeries every 6 months, knee replacements and shit. No, our kids don't want to do that. And we don't want that life for our children because many of us had to do it while we were growing up to take care of them. So at this point, no, we want our children to have better than we had. So if that means they have the opportunity to be lawyers and doctors, and they have the opportunities to be electricians and opportunities to build their own plumbing businesses and opportunities to build their own hair salons and barbershops, we want them to have those opportunities. I don't want my children to stand in a factory for the rest of their lives, putting wear and tear on their bodies when they have the opportunity to get an education in the freest country in the world, so you say.
So you're telling me that you don't want your kids to put on a stay working. Yeah, my back is fucked up.
Wait, time out.
I
So you're
work-
saying
I
that
work hard all
to
my
put in
life.
an honest day's work, you have to put wear and tear on your body and break your body down? That's a very, very, very weird kind of institutionalized mindset that we're trying to make sure our children don't have.
So, but you do realize not all people are cut out for that. I know a lot
Sure.
of people that, you know what, a factory job is a job they're going to work for the rest of their life because
Great, and
that's
we
their-
have infrastructure
that's
to
their
do
comfort
that.
zone.
We have factories here. We have things that we build here, right? We have Tyson chicken plants and Butterball and shit like that. We got all those. But at the end of the day, well, we have farming jobs. We have all these things for people who want to work in rural America. Fine. But the truth of the matter is, if we put trades back in schools, we're not worried about kids getting 4-year degrees because they still have a piece of income to fall back on. We're talking about kids who can go and get their CDLs and they don't have to work and even pull anything off a truck. All they got to do is pull up and drop that shit. We're in a place of progression. We don't want our kids to go through a place where that's costing us 20 more years we could have had with our parents. So no, we're not in that position. We don't want a grandparent. We don't want to be grandparents that can't run around with our grandkids because our back hurt. We don't want that. We want to invest in education. We want to invest in the next generation and not just throw them in factories like robots.
So what jobs are they going to work? What are you talking about?
Most, if you really think about it, most factory jobs are actually being taken over by automation. So that doesn't necessarily track either.
So basically, what you want to have is nobody's
A
going to have to
functioning
work a
society of
job.
people who
They
make
all
living
gonna
wages.
sit
Yes.
back at home and milk the system.
That
That's
didn't
what
make
you
any
want.
sense with what I just said. I never, no, none of what I just said inferred that people should be at home milking the system. What are you talking about? I didn't even mention social programs. But if you want to get on that,
That's what you're
social
going.
programs,
That's
the
what
biggest
you're
social
going
program
down.
that we have right now, is Social Security for boomers. So it looks like you guys are the ones leeching off the government. But here's the thing. What I will say is this. You're sitting here angry that kids don't want to work in factories, that kids actually want to have careers that they enjoy. I don't get that. That's weird. I think everybody does those get by jobs. I think that everybody does those get by jobs to make sure that they can make ends meet, sure. But they're working towards something better. They're working towards getting out of that factory. They're working towards getting out of that restaurant. They're working towards getting out of the coal mines, whatever the case may be. They're working for those things. And so that's what I'm not understanding is how we can sit here and say, oh, because kids don't want to break their bodies and do the same things that we do, then they're a little bit they're weaker than us. Well, if that makes them weaker, then fine. But they will live longer in a country where they can actually invest in themselves and not depend on the government to tell them when they can retire, not to depend on the government when they get sick.
Control.
No, you actually do. That's what you voted for.
I do not.
Only Donald Trump wants to be in your kitchen, your bedroom, your doctor's office. He wants to see you driving on the highway, all those different things. That's what Donald Trump is doing. Nobody's asking for that. He's advocating for that. Yeah, we've got flock cameras. We're saying that people can't have ABs, kids can't have gender affirming care. We're saying that we can put flock cameras in neighborhoods.
Do you really think kids should have a caring care? Are you?
Yeah, what's
serious?
hey big dog, what's gynecomastia?
No, what do you mean? You think a minor?
No, I'm
child
asking you a question. What is gynecomastia?
sounds like a horrible disease.
It's a disease, right? Where it's not necessarily just a condition where young men who may be like, I don't know, very slim built or any frame, but they grow breast like women, like large breast like women. And so they take hormones to make those breasts smaller so that they can look more, they can present more as a male because they are not, they're men and they're not, I mean, they're boys and they're not girls. What about endometriosis? Do you know what that is?
No, you're taking pills so they don't grow breast. I'm finding that hard to believe.
Oh yeah, you should look up gynecomastia. It's a very well known disease that's happening in younger men.
You're definitely woke.
No, I'm just educated.
Well, you
That's the
said
thing.
educated, but you
It's
know
okay
what?
to be. It's okay to be educated. What's the opposite of woke?
I was 145
No. Hey. What's the opposite of woke?
A good solid.
It would be sleep, right?
A what?
So why if they don't want you woke, do they want you sleep?
You're making no sense here.
It makes perfect sense. The opposite of being woke would be asleep. So with that being said, if the government is telling you don't be woke, they're telling you to be asleep. Close your eyes and don't pay attention to anything that is going on in front of you. We'll do all of this while you pay no attention. We just need you to not focus on this. Keep your eyes closed. Keep your eyes closed. We don't want you to see anything that we're about to do because we know it's going to hurt, right? So with that being said, those of us who have our eyes open and we're saying, no, that's not what the government is supposed to do, or no, that's unconstitutional, or no, according to the Fourth Amendment, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Third Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 22nd Amendment, the 19th Amendment, all of the ones that he's trying to violate in this moment, that makes us woke for knowing how our country works. Maybe the reason that your back and your neck hurt so bad right now is because you don't understand how your country works.
Oh, because I work for a living I earned
Yeah.
my
And
way.
your country took advantage of you the whole time. They made you work and
So
work and work while billionaires made millions. And those billionaires are retired on an island somewhere doing the best, living their best life. While you're sitting here on TikTok at 60 years old arguing with a 36-year-old woman because you haven't gotten old enough to qualify for your Social Security yet, but your neck hurts and your back hurts and your insurance is going up. And all of the fucked up things that they made you do over that time, all of the overtime that they made you work, you don't have anything to really show for it except for those few dollars that you get per month until you start getting your Social
you
Security.
think
So with
that
that being said, you're up here and you're trying to tell me about how everybody else should be living in this country when it doesn't look like the country did you any well in the first place.
do you believe
Sir,
in? Do you believe that the government should furnish you health care?
I believe that we should have a government option and a private option. Yes.
No. Do you think the government should furnish your health care?
I just answered your question. I believe that we should have universal health care and also a private option for those who want a private option.
Okay. So why would you have a private option if the government's going to pay for your health care? Why would you want to have to pay for it?
Because the government would offer basic health care. So those private options would be different advancements or amplifications that you can add to your government health care in case
So
you have like a chronic illness or something. You may be able to add additional coverage, or you may not have to deal with the government option at all. You could go through
basically,
United Healthcare or whatever you wanted to do.
but it comes down to is that then you would say that I have money, I can afford this insurance, so I'm going to be covered on these problems. Now, I don't have that kind of money. You're going to say, well, wait a second. Why can't I get those same coverage plan as a person with money? Is that not what you're going to say?
No, because if the private option is for those who want to have a private option, if you don't have the option for private insurance, you have a government option that doesn't fail you. So you don't have to wait until it's an emergency to go to a doctor. You can still get a primary care physician, even though it's not what you want. It's health care. If
Okay.
you happen to come up in the meantime and get some more money, then go and get yourself some private insurance. But I think that we should all pay enough taxes into a system that allows for everyone to be able to go to the doctor. Do you know that about
Do you realize, what
37%
about
of the
Canada?
United States, excuse me, about 37% of the United States can't afford to go to the doctor until it's an emergency because they can't be turned away in an emergency? That's how most people actually conduct their health care, especially with those subsidies. And as of right now, we've seen with the recension of the subsidies from the Affordable Care Act, health insurance has gone up 26.4%. So at this point, right, what we're seeing is that people are not able to afford it. This would be a great time for people to be able to have access to universal health care.
So who pays for that universal health care?
Everyone.
Do you think that's right?
Yes.
So because I bettered myself and I went and I got a real job, I got to pay for everybody. Do you think illegals should be entitled to the health care policy?
Under 8 USC 1611, they aren't.
But they are.
They're only entitled to EMTALA, which was written by Ronald Reagan, that says that they only have to be stabilized in the event of an emergency. Now, again, how you feel about what you feel, again, I can't argue your humanity. I would pay money to make sure that every American is paid for and taken care of. I don't really care
Fine.
because no kid should have to worry about where they're going to get their next meal from. They should worry
Fine.
about homework. That should be their job. That should be what they're focused on. So with
How
that
much
being
money?
said,
How much
again,
money
I
did you
can't
make last
argue
year?
your humanity.
How much money
That's
did
a
you make
very
last year?
personal, weird question. Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Are
How
you
much did you
okay?
make last year?
I don't
What was
have
your
to.
take-home pay
I'm
last
not
year?
disclosing how much money I made. That's a very personal question.
No, it's not. Wait. You guys wanted Trump to disclose what he made.
That's the
Now
president of the
you're
United
telling
States.
me
I'm not
that's
the
weird.
president of the United
It's
States. That's a
not.
weird comparison, friend.
You know. But the thing is, when the money starts coming out of
I think you're
your
running out of
pocket,
things to say at this point. I've already said I don't care if the
when
money
money
comes out of my
comes out of
pocket.
your pocket,
I don't
it's
care
a
about the money
totally
coming out of my pocket. If it makes sure that
Oh,
somebody's able to get their
oh, wait a
cancer
second.
treatments,
You're too
if it
low
able, if it makes sure somebody can get
So
their insulin,
you're
if it
taking
makes sure
money
somebody
out
is
of
safe,
my
I'm
pocket.
100% going to. I don't really give a fuck if you pay for it or not. You ain't got another 20 years left. You're good, bro. You're not going
You
to be
know
paying for
what?
long.
You're taking the money out of my pocket. It's not
I
coming
don't
out
really
of
care.
yours because
Don't
you're
pay your
not a
taxes.
fucking worker. You're
I
a
am a worker.
welfare recipient.
How do you know that?
I can tell by the way you're talking.
Oh,
You want to think
okay.
this because you know what? When you start looking at the American taxpayer,
Let's get those boiling stickers in the chat.
and you know what's going to happen here? The United States will not make it to 300 years.
Hey, I
We
want to
will
know how you thought I
collapse.
was a welfare recipient. I want to know where you got that from. Tell me.
I can tell by looking at you and telling how you're talking.
How am I talking?
And you know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen in the United States? The
Tell
more
me.
the welfare recipients
Uh,
are going to overpower the working class.
wait, but
And
Social
then the United
Security,
States
Social
will
Security is the
collapse.
biggest social program in the world, in the United States right now.
We will collapse. You do realize that
You know,
the United
you know
States
the welfare
is
that
going
you're
to collapse.
talking
We
about.
will
Hold
not
on.
make it
Wait,
to
wait, wait, wait,
300
wait,
years.
wait, 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 wait. The welfare that you're talking about is only about 3% of the whole budget. So with that being said, it's interesting because you're
How do
talking
you come
about
up
it
that
crashing,
shit?
and it's going to crash because of the fact that Social Security for your generation is that would be the reason, friend. Social
Dude,
Security is the biggest social program we
are you
have.
serious? You
Yes.
realize entitlement programs is like 50% of our budget. You
No.
understand that?
Social programs. You do understand social programs and
Social
entitlement
programs
programs
are 50% of
are
our
the same
budget.
thing. That's the same thing. And the biggest one we have is Social Security, dear.
Bullshit.
Look it up.
So all these people, all these
No,
illegals going off the system.
You want to look at the budget?
No,
Let's look at the numbers. Let's look at the numbers, friend. You
No,
said I was lying. I don't like to be called a liar. I
you
think
are
that's
lying.
a crazy
You know
thing.
you are.
So I want you to tell me what's the biggest social program that's taking up the money right now?
Deadbeats.
Deadbeats. That's not a thing.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know a government program called Deadbeats. What's that called? What's that about?
That would be called deadbeat fucking losers that are
Oh,
milking the system.
are you getting angry?
I'm always
Why are you getting
angry
angry?
because
That's what happens because you've worked so hard in these United States. They've whipped your back so much and made you just work hard,
I don't like
and you just
freeloaders.
here you are.
I
Here
don't
you
like
are.
freeloaders. I told you that.
Who's the freeloader? What percentage of SNAP recipients work, friend?
Probably like 0.
Incorrect. That would be 60. What percentage of SNAP recipients are children?
Then I'm not sure of. But
30. So now we're at 90%. What percent of SNAP recipients are elderly? Oh, so see how you don't know the numbers? You haven't looked up any information. You just went with these talking points that you were given, right? You're 60 years old and someone gave you talking points to use and you didn't go look them up, but you say you're your own man.
okay,
That blows my mind.
I know how the system works.
Tell me how.
People take advantage of the system.
Show me.
They take advantage of
I'd like to see those
babysitting.
statistics.
They do this and that.
No.
You think
I'd like to
you
see the
really think
statistics.
nobody takes advantage of the
No. I'd like to see the statistics. See, because here's the thing. If somebody is babysitting, right, and they're not being paid through a W-4, then 9 times out of 10, they're not going to report that income because it's cash income. Most people are just going to say it's $0 because it's really not enough income to make a difference. Also, we have what's called E-Verify. So when a person puts in their social security number on their food stamp application, it's automatically going to pull up any income that's attached to your social security number. So that's how that works. So it's really interesting that you have these thoughts and you have these ideas, but yet and still they're not backed by substantive evidence. Why? Is it because you needed someone to give you political talking points and you failed?
No, I did not fail.
You did.
I did not.
I mean, everything you said was a failure, right?
That-
You had all these
you
talking
said
points
was a
and none of them were
failure.
true. That's interesting to me. None of those talking points were true. So see, I was at first very, very kind to you. So now I'm just going to tell you how I really feel. Because see, you came with the whole food stamp recipient thing and all of this and that. I think, right, that you, sir, are so caught up on protecting your president that you failed your country. That you failed everyone around you. You failed the women in your life. You failed the young men in your life. You failed yourself because you had every opportunity to do something better with your life and you didn't. You instead stood on a factory line for 40 years, probably, until you had nothing left. Your shins are fucked up. Your knees are bone on bone. Your back is full of fucking vertebrae that have no type of cartilage in between them. Your neck probably hurts every time you wake up in the morning because someone took every piece of pride and dignity that you had and made you work in their factory. And now they are sitting on a yacht scratching their balls while you sit here on TikTok whining about how everyone else has something that you didn't get. Isn't that sad how pathetic and miserable you are that you have to come onto TikTok and say a bunch of stupid talking points that make absolutely no sense and you still won't even do your own research? You know why? Because you are so set in your ways, that you won't even stand up to your government, but you punch down on a single mother who just wants to feed her kids. I can't tell you about your own humanity, sir. Right? Because you said I was woke. I'm woke. I'm way too woke. You're absolutely right. You are clearly sleeping and you are the problem with this country. You are the problem with this country. You are the reason that children's education is not being funded. You are the reason that children are going hungry. You are the reason that we don't live as long in this country. You are the reason that children can't go to college. You are the reason that trades have been taken out of schools. You believe that children should stand on assembly lines for the rest of their lives like you did so that they can make a difference in this world and not be politicians or lawyers or doctors because you didn't do it. You don't want to see anyone be better than you. You want to see everyone else suffer just like you did because you believe that's what a hard day's work is. Why? Because someone told you that that's what a hard day's work is, and that's what you believed. You held on to that for the rest of your life, that you sacrificed everything about yourself to make it make sense to you. And now at 60 years old, after you've left your job, if you're not still working, you finally realize how much of a fool they made out of you. And so now you go around angry with every single person and thing in your life because you have nothing to hold on to or show for all of the years of work that you've done that everyone else robbed from you. So I'm sorry that this is your life at this age. I am so sorry that this is your life at this age. And I hope that you find some sort of peace before your head goes cold and you start looking up at us, sir. Now you have a good rest of your day.
Hello.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I remember you.
I'm just asking how you doing, that's all.
Are you sober?
I never drank.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you want to ask me?
What would you like to talk about? Do you want to prove me wrong?
Okay, let's go ahead. Let's play the game.
Here, before we get started, everything you say needs to be backed up by data. Substantiate your point. Secondly, I'm not going to yell over you. Not going to happen. We're going to have a conversation or you can leave. Because every time you come up here, you go to yelling and screaming, and I'm not that type. Say your piece.
Well, I'm yelling and screaming, but are them braids real or are they fake hair?
I bought them.
Okay. We're already on a good track. So how is America messed up?
That's not the topic.
I can't even. Trump is running America. Prove me. Is ruining America. Okay, my bad. Ruining America. How's he ruining America?
Finish reading it.
Prove me wrong. Oh, prove you wrong. Oh, he's got tax on tips. He's doing everything for the meat cows to get down.
Can you
He's
tell me how the tax
deporting
on tips
illegals.
works? How does tax on tips work?
Hey, you gonna let me finish or you gonna keep talking?
Well, I think we're just going to go through a bunch of different talking points. Why don't we start one by one so we can have honest conversations?
Okay, let's go.
You said no tax on tips. How does that work?
You don't report that to anybody. You don't have to. That means that person that left you a tip gets that money. And then guess what happens, right? in the business side of the world, people who actually own businesses that do restaurants report that because they get a jar. If they get a jar, they can count the tax. But the regular employees don't get taxed on tips. So, anything else you want to talk to? So that makes them an independent contractor. So, anything else?
Yeah, because that was completely wrong.
No, it was right. I'm very
It
right
wasn't.
about that.
It wasn't.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah, we can go directly to the bill. Guys, we don't have to mute him. He's gonna act a fool, and eventually I'm just
No,
gonna
I
get rid of
just
him.
said prove me wrong. I muted
Go
myself.
directly to the bill. Go to the bill.
I'm not going to a bill. It's
Go
a
to the
beautiful,
bill.
great beer. You know how long that beautiful great bill?
Yeah, you can just search
Have you
it.
read it all?
Yes.
Young lady, you're lying to me. Have a great
I
day.
have read the big beautiful bill.
No, you didn't. No,
Took
you
me a
didn't.
couple days, but I did. Yes. What just happened? Who dropped him? Yeah, okay. Usually he runs. That's usually how that goes. Guys, if you're new here, tap the screen and hit the follow button up at the top. And thanks for being here. By the way, chat, if I haven't told you today, I tell you every single day, I love you. And if you haven't heard it from anybody else, you're hearing it from me. And if you didn't belong in any other room you walked in today, you damn sure belong here, and I'm glad you came. Hi, friend. How are you? Hello. I don't think you know you're here. Thank you, guys. 198 people. Not bad. Thanks, guys. Oh, Big Dog's back. I'm not letting Big Dog up, I don't think. I don't know who did that, but that's the... Okay, here we are. What's up? What's up, Big Dog?
I don't know. What do you keep dropping me for?
I only dropped you once.
You have dropped me twice.
Oh, man. What do you want?
Because you don't want to hear the truth.
Well, I told you the truth.
No, you did not. You told me your whiny voice truth, but you didn't tell me the truth.
You told me my whiny voice truth?
Yeah. Because you know I'm right.
Okay. You know what? You don't have long left on Earthside, so you know what? I'll give you the W.
That'd be the win.
Yeah, you'll take it.
No, I'll take
Take
the win.
that to your grave.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I fucking can't. That's crazy. Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. First of all, I'm legally blind. I have diabetes in both of my eyes. It's called retinopathy. My retina is separated, so I can't really see.
Okay.
So I couldn't type in the prompt what I want to say to you.
Mm-hmm.
You are an artful, brilliant piece of work. I appreciate you. It's so refreshing to hear a queen cook a bunch of simple, idiot, insulated, socially and culturally ignorant people who are raised to think because of the way this system is formed in this country, to insulate them and give them the entitlement that they have. They look at life through this pseudoscience conservative viewpoint and seek to remove constitutional rights from American citizens. And they voted for a human being, a sub everything human being that they would never ever give to. They would never give this power to a person of color to be in that position. And so they reinforce every truth about the systemic racism that has been the historical fact pattern of this country. Um, I'm a paralegal and I studied law, and I'm degreed, and so I had to do a deep dive into constitutional law and constitutional history, American history, and it hasn't changed. It's evolved, and I'm so glad that you are on this live. You are chef because you cook they funky asses, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I think if I may, with every bit of respect for your, I think if you're married to your husband, your family, I want to call you Chef Pretty Girl, but you cooks their ass. So with that, that's all I wanted to say. You can drop me.
Thank you, babe. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, y'all. Wow. Dang it. Who put the onions in here? Ugh. I don't know what it is about hearing from my OGs. I don't know what it is about hearing from my OGs that just make this so worth it. Cause it really be like the older crowd that makes it so hard to do this. And shout out to y'all comments. Like, oh man, thank y'all. That's the best. That's the best. I always get so like scared to talk about stuff all the time, but I just be. Shout out to my OGs out there, the OGs that see us. Shout out to y'all. I love y'all so much. Thank you. Thank you to everybody that's here. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for just showing up. That means a lot. This shit is hard some days, but I am always Hi.
Yo,
Can I have your age?
26.
You said 26?
Yep.
Okay.
People who are ruining America, I think are some people in the Republican Party, like Tucker Carlson, Thomas Massey, and Marjorie Taylor Greene. They're trying to divide the party, but I don't think it's gonna help. I think it's gonna backfire on them because their careers are over. Where on the other hand, the Democrats, they don't even have a leader. But what we got is just like the MAGA base versus an AOC, a woman, a Kamala that I don't think will get stuff done. So we're going all the way back to square one. And I think
you said you're 26?
Yeah.
Why do you require a leader?
Because we need a leader to run a country.
No, a party, right, is a party. And I don't identify with political parties, so I don't necessarily like to do the whole division thing, but a party is a party. And there are equal voices amongst the party. And don't get me wrong, we have people who have specific duties in those parties. But thank you. We have specific people who have duties within those parties, but they're not our leaders, though. Right? We lead ourselves. We are the idea is self-governance. So I don't understand what you mean by leader.
When you have people like Marjorie Taylor Greene turns to brown under stress, that kind of goes against our agenda, my agenda. I mean, it's not, you're kind of like shooting yourself in the foot. And it's not. It's
what?
Just all the progress that we done made. We got
what
people
progress
that are trying to
what progress was made?
The no taxes, all the
no taxes on what?
Tips, overtime, Social Security.
So Social Security is still taxed. Overtime is only taxed on the 0.5, and no tax on tips. People were not taxing cash tips anyway.
Well, lower taxes in general compared to Joe Biden and Barack Hussein Obama.
But how do you pay for things without taxes?
We still have taxes, but we're gonna lower it.
When we lower taxes, do you not remember like when Bush did tax cuts, and do you not remember that?
I was in I was a
Yeah,
doorstop.
When Bush enacted the tax cuts, we went into the Great Recession. Recession.
Resection.
So recession, excuse me. So we went into the Great Recession. The housing market failed. Banks started to fail. Like tax cuts are never going to be a good thing because we fund our economy and our government on taxes. And if we
Bruh,
don't fund, if we don't fund our government on taxes that we pay in, that means that we're borrowing money from other countries to fund our own.
so basically, you just saying that you want higher taxes.
I think there are certain tax brackets that should pay higher taxes. Yes.
Oh, it's certain tax brackets.
Yeah, higher
Like
tax
what?
brackets, higher income earners should pay higher taxes. I mean, that just makes sense.
Why
And like
why
middle class people in the middle class, most of us wouldn't mind paying higher taxes simply to make sure that we have the basic necessities that we need. We're dealing with 100-year-old infrastructure in this country. We need new infrastructure. We need investment into education and
kind of
healthcare.
sounds like you want to spread the wealth.
I think that's how we fund America. So let me ask you this: if we take money from the poorest people, right, and then those people have to depend more on social programs, that's counterproductive. So we would take money from the higher earners, right, who have more disposable income and assets that they would pay into taxes, which would then not only benefit them in terms of infrastructure, it would benefit them in terms of education, it would benefit them in terms of environmental. This would
Then,
benefit everyone. They're not just
then,
paying for everyone, and also the middle class would be paying as well.
then what's the whole point of the American dream if you don't get rewarded for your efforts?
1 second. Shout out to the Bill Raiders. Thank you, Bill Raiders, for coming in. Come on in, Block Raiders. Hey, hey, hey. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. So good to see you all. If you are not following me, hit that follow button up at the top. If you haven't sent that heart me button, it's 1 penny. Send me that heart me because, honey, I can use it. And shout out to Bill. We love BBCs all around here. So, you said what now?
People that are rich don't get rewarded for their efforts. Why would I want to become
But they
rich
do.
if I know if I get to that top level, I'm going to be taxed like hell?
If I go to the top level and I'm a millionaire and I know for a fact that I can sustain my lifestyle and I'm fine and that my money goes to taking care of the country, that makes me more of a patriot than a person who would hoard wealth and see people hungry, especially veterans and children and the elderly. I don't
But
think
that's
that makes
not
you
my
a
job.
patriot. Then I can't argue your
It's not
humanity.
my
I can
job
only
to
argue
do.
how government works.
I earn my money. I get to do what I do with my money,
Yeah, so do other people.
not dependent, not give it to.
And those
I
same
mean,
people would be
I've seen
paying
people
into
that.
infrastructure and education and everything else just like you are. So I don't understand what the problem is.
But why should I give it to the poor man who hasn't done nothing in his life and wants a
Who said
handout?
he hasn't done anything? Who says the poor man wasn't a doctor
I
that ended
do.
up with cancer? Who says that the poor man wasn't a person that was a millionaire that got scammed by their accountant? Who says that the millionaire is not a person who had their money stolen from them, or a person who got sick and couldn't work anymore and had to pay massive
You're making
bills? Who's to say that? Who's to say that the poor person isn't a
you
person that's disabled, that's not a child? You're looking at this one prototype that you have in your mind of what poor people look like, and that's not an entire
you're
picture. That's
listen.
again arguing your humanity, and I can't do that.
Listen. You're making a good point, but what does that have to do with me? That's nothing to do with
Again,
me.
like I said,
It's not my
I'm
problem.
not talking about you. We're talking about how we would use taxes in the economy. You made this about you. So again, I said I can't argue your humanity. I can only argue how
That's
the
not my
government
problem.
works.
It's not my problem though.
Oh, well, I can't argue about you, so we just be going in circles at this point. Are we done with this conversation, or?
Everybody who came out since birth is survival of the fittest. You make your
Oh,
way in life. Don't depend on others.
again, I'm arguing your humanity. We're no longer arguing policy. I don't, who you choose to be as a person is between you and God. That has nothing to do with me. I'm arguing government
So
policy
if I
and procedure.
don't give money to the poor, I don't have humanity.
I just said I can't argue your humanity. I can't tell you if you have it or you don't. It's not my place to tell you that. I don't know
We
what we're
want to talk
doing
about
here.
handicapped people.
I don't understand what's happening. I think
I
you're just,
I
I
park
think
in
you want
handicap.
this
I
reaction,
park.
and it's not working the way you want it to work. I don't think it's doing what you needed it to do,
I,
friend.
I want you to concede to my point that
That's not gonna
I do what I want
happen.
with my money.
That's
You
not gonna
do what you
happen.
want with your money.
Well, according to the 16th Amendment, the government has the power to levy and collect taxes, so it's
Not if
constitutional.
it's liquid cash. Not if it's liquid cash.
Okay, then you avoid taxes. Then that's your job. I mean,
Exactly.
that's your life. Okay, then avoid
Yes,
taxes. Well, at this point, we're going in circles, and this is a waste of my time. So I hope you have a better rest of your night, friend, and
be
hopefully
you.
we can have a better conversation about policy later. Yeah, we're not going to do that. That's crazy. Wasting my time. Guys, make sure we are tapping the screen. Tap the screen. Shout out to Bill for the raid. W Bill in the chat, guys. We love Bill. I love Bill so much. Shout out to his skin, his hair, his y'all don't even understand. Like, Bill is tea. I love Bill. I love me some Bill. That is a gorgeous human. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys. So what else was I giving y'all? News? Yes, I was giving you news. I was giving you face and I was giving you news. And I'm giving you cheekbones this evening. Shout out to my grandma for these cheekbones. Whew. Ooh, shout out to Geneva. She did her big one. Come on, genetics. My bad, y'all. Okay, anyways. Oh, that was all the news I had for you. Oh my goodness. Okay, and then I told you guys the other day about the emails between ICE and the Iranian government. If you remember that, if you were there for that, give me a unicorn. If you were not, any other emoji will do. Any other emoji will do. Well, Sam, I know you were here. I know Sam was here. Shout out to Sam. We love Sam. Oh, damn. Okay. All right, y'all. So I'll give you the tea on the emails. The emails. Somebody said I just came now. Okay. I get you. Okay. Shout out to all our new friends. Let's see. Shout out to 48 followers and 49 gifters. Oh my goodness. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. So much. Okay. Newly released emails show something surprising was happening behind the scenes while relations between Washington and Tehran were deteriorating. U.S. immigration officials were quietly working with Iranian officials to deport nationals back to Iran. Okay? And Iran wasn't necessarily just receiving people after the United States decided who to deport. The emails indicate Iranian officials had some influence over who was placed on the deportation flights, including requests for last-minute changes to passenger lists. More than 100 Iranians were ultimately returned on 3 flights, and the dates of those 3 flights were September of 2025, December of 2025, and January of 2026. Okay? So the emails were obtained by the National Iranian American Council and released publicly this week, giving the clearest look yet at how the arrangement worked. But there's an even bigger reason this is controversial. Some of the people being returned were asylum seekers. And Iran had a documented history of persecuting political dissidents, religious minorities, and other groups. Here's the details. The first thing to understand is that deporting someone internationally isn't as simple as putting them on an airplane. The receiving country generally has to cooperate. So that means that travel documents have to be issued, identities have to be verified, and transportation has to be arranged. And the country that they're going to has to say that we're going to take this person in. We agree to accept this person back, right? Okay, so that created a weird problem because obviously the U.S. and Iran, we don't fuck with each other like that. So those relations have been a problem since 1979. If we want to be honest, we're going back to the 50s. So for decades, the U.S. has also been a destination for Iranian dissidents, political opponents, religious minorities, and others fleeing Iran, the Islamic Republic. So large-scale deportation cooperation between the two governments is politically and historically unusual. But the Trump administration wanted to increase deportation. So what they did, right, was they started this email shit. And it gets deep, okay? Stay with me. Okay. Newly released emails show that U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials developed a working channel with Iranian representatives. Sometimes that communication went through Qatar, the same people that gave Trump the plane, which helped arrange charter flights through Doha. But other emails refer to direct interactions with, quote, the Iranian delegation, the director of the Iranian embassy, and other Iranian officials. And this is where the story gets much more weird. The email suggests Iran wasn't simply saying, yes, we'll take these people. Iranian officials were making requests concerning who should actually be on the flights. One ICE official wrote in August of 2025, quote, per request from the Iran embassy, I added a few cases, end quote. Another email said Iran wanted ICE to amend a previous passenger manifest and expedite removals. Just 3 days before the first flight departed, an ICE official wrote that Iranian representatives were requesting that 3 additional Iranians be added. Iranian officials were apparently still making requests on the day of that the flight departed, although AP reports that at least some of those final requests were rejected. And that creates a critical unanswered question. Why did Iran want particular people returned? Thank you. The emails don't fully answer that. And AP says it isn't clear whether the people Iran requested had volunteered to return or were being forcibly deported. Now, another thing that we know is that at least one person was put on a flight by mistake. There's another alarming detail in the emails. At least one Iranian was apparently placed on a deportation flight, even though that person wasn't included on the final passenger list provided to Qatari authorities. A U.S. official flagged the problem after the flight. Another official responded that they had no idea how the person had gotten onto the plane. That raises questions about how carefully the manifests were being managed during an already sensitive deportation operation. But the timing of the entire effort makes the story even more unusual. Now, in June 2025, the United States and Israel were engaged in a 12-day conflict with Iran. Y'all remember that? From June 13th to June 24th, strikes were being exchanged. Shit was going down. It was like, bow. Iranian airspace was closed. People were fleeing the country, and President Trump publicly warned, quote, everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran, end quote. Yes, behind the scenes, ICE officials were simultaneously being told that deporting Iranians back to Iran remained a priority. Former acting ICE director Todd Lyons described Iranian repatriations as a priority in an internal email. Other officials acknowledged the obvious logistical problem. Iran wasn't issuing the necessary travel documents. Iranian airspace was closed, and people were actively leaving the country still. Still, ICE leadership wanted a plan for 58 Iranians with final removal orders who were then in custody. One official described the effort internally as, quote, White House priority. So think about that contradiction. Publicly, the United States was telling people to get out of Tehran during a war. Internally, immigration officials were being told to figure out how to send Iranian deportees back. The actual deportation flights came later, after the ceasefire, but the planning continued during the conflict itself. Okay? Now, here is another thing. This is completely like separate from what is going on, right? The emails show ICE officials arranging meetings between Iranian officials and Iranian detainees in United States custody. The emails don't always explain what happens during those meetings, but an unrelated lawsuit filed in July contains much more serious allegations. 11 Iranian detainees said they were forced to meet with Iranian government representatives while being held by ICE. According to sworn declarations described by AP, those detainees said Iranian officials appeared to know sensitive details about their asylum claims. If you don't know why that's a problem, under United States law, we have what is called asylum confidentiality. So when somebody comes here on asylum, the American government can't communicate with their country to tell them the details of that asylum application. That is unlawful. So, the lawsuit alleges that the U.S. immigration agencies illegally shared confidential asylum information with Iran. That would be extremely significant if proven, because imagine the situation. Someone tells the United States government, I'm afraid the Iranian government will persecute me. The asylum application contains information explaining why. Then officials representing the government, the person claims to fear, allegedly appear in the detention facility knowing details about the case. That's exactly the kind of disclosure asylum confidentiality rules are designed to prevent. But there's an important distinction. The allegation has not been established as fact just yet, because it hasn't seen a judge. The Department of Homeland Security has strongly denied improperly sharing asylum records. DHS said in July the allegations ICE provided asylum application records to Iran were false. So we have to separate the two things. The newly released emails show coordination and access between U.S. and Iranian officials. The allegation that confidential asylum information was illegally shared is part of separate litigation and is disputed by the government at this time. So I want to make sure I'm clear when I give you guys information. I hate when I do that. I don't know how to, what do I do? Did I do something? Okay, I'm back. This TikTok shit is new, man. Oh. Listen, Shane, I was like, oh no, the vortex. I was losing it for a second. Okay, I do want to make sure that I'm clear, because I always like to make sure that you guys understand how important those distinctions are when we are talking about these stories. Because yes, they can get salacious and we're like, oh, that sounds terrible. But we do have to understand it is not illegal for ICE to talk with Iran. However, it is illegal for them to give information regarding confidential asylum applications. Also, when we're talking about governments being able to go into detention facilities, right? Y'all, listen, I be finding the tea. I be telling some shit in here. I don't know if did I tell y'all? Some of y'all was in here when I told y'all about the whole Epstein thing. It's a whole thing, y'all. I be digging deep into the news. How I do my news, for those of you that are new here, if y'all don't know, I do 5 stories per day. I've already done my 5 stories for today, but I do 5 stories per day. The 5 stories that I do, I usually use 5 sources. If I can't find 5 sources to validate those claims, I will not share that story with you at all. I will 100% make sure that everything that I give you is the 100% truth. If I find something and it's confirmed in 3 out of those 5 articles, I'm not telling you. Right? One, the idea is for you to stay curious and for you to want to know more. Secondly, the idea is to make sure that I'm not giving you a bunch of news because that I didn't verify, because we can go to 6 different lives right now and everybody will tell the same story 6 different ways. I want to make sure that when I give you the news, that it's something that you're confident telling the next person if you ever had to share it. Right? I don't want y'all going around saying that lying ass bitch unicorn always telling me some old fuck shit. And then when I go look it up, it ain't what she said. That lying heifer. You know what I'm saying? Who wants to be known that way? Damn. Unicorns are known for sparkle and fucking and grace and majestic running across fields and shit. Not lying. You know, damn lie. Come on now. Don't put me in that box. Also, if you are new here, I'm going to shamelessly plug, damn it. I have a podcast. My podcast is called You Ought to Know Better, and it is in my bio. I just recently added the Substack in there, and I have another piece that I'm working on right now. I read it earlier. Another piece that I'm working on, but I've already written my first piece for Substack, and my podcast is also there, so you guys can go and listen to it there. iHeart, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I have a YouTube channel. You guys can go and check out my YouTube. It's pretty cool. Oh my goodness, you listened. Thank you. I appreciate that. That means the world. So if you guys I got a review in the chat. So if you guys want to listen to my podcast, please feel free to do so. The way that my podcast works is I look at a political issue that we have, like, for example, manufactured consent or common sense, all of those different things. And I address them from 3 different points, and that's going to be history, psychology, and politics. And those things all come together to be able to help us have better conversations around why people do the things they do, like defend being wrong in conversations or whatever the case may be. And it teaches us how to communicate better based on how the mind works with our political thinking, and also how history played a part in it. So I think it's really important that those are 3 big things that we address when we talk about politics, because it helps all of us know a little bit understand our neighbors just a little bit better. So there's that. But yeah, I am over my time, guys. I usually do this until 12:30. So I'm going to call it for the night, but I did, for those of you who want to hear that piece that my next piece that I'm working on for Substack, I'm going to read that real quick, and then I'll give you our positive piece for the night, and we'll get up out of here. So this is my positive piece. Not my positive piece. This is the piece that I'm working on for Substack, right now. It doesn't really have a name yet. I just called it Hayden for now, because I haven't really picked a title yet for her. Throughout the years of seeing Hayden Panettiere, this was inspired by her. Throughout the years of seeing Hayden Panettiere, growing up with her and seeing her blossom into something great, I was especially sad when I heard that she died. Not only because I grew up with her, but because I honestly hadn't thought of her in years. When most celebrities fade from our screens, we don't follow them through those moments. We don't reach in to tell them that we still love them. Instead, we see their bad moments and we magnify them. We saw this with Amy Winehouse, Brittany Murphy. Some of you even took jabs at Chadwick Boseman, not knowing he was facing the harshest reality of his life: death. Perhaps we look upon our heroes too fondly. Give me one second. I hate when my freaking contacts go crazy. There we go. Perhaps we look upon our heroes so fondly to escape our own reality that the acknowledgement of their struggles would remind us of our own. The perception that someone so perfect could struggle so severely off camera is a stark reminder that perfection and admiration don't come with a waiver from life's rock bottoms. Why do we find comfort with only the parts of people we like? Maybe the cowardice that lies within us all doesn't want to see the pain in others. Days after Hayden died, an interview from May of 2026 resurfaced of her discussing losing a brand deal with popular skincare line Neutrogena. In the interview, Panettiere discussed her struggles with postpartum depression and how it ultimately led to her firing from the skincare giant after 10 years of working together. Sit with that. Hayden was telling everyone she was not okay. She was telling us about those struggles in the face many celebrities are forced to wear: the brave, unfazed, and for viewer comfort, vulnerable face. The almost Pavlovian persona that occurs when cameras and microphones are present. We look at it as strength. It makes us feel like we've known them forever, like we're just catching up. Why didn't we boycott Neutrogena when she told us the first time? Why was death the moment we noticed? Why did life have to end for empathy to begin? We force perfection from those we idolize because we find pieces of ourselves in them. We find the good parts of ourselves in the characters they play. Do we value the celebrities we like, or do we use them? Chadwick as Black Panther made many of us see strength that we didn't know we had. Amy made us embrace the imperfections that society made taboo. They didn't just give us music and movies. They gave us hope, strength, a voice. They helped us to reach inside of ourselves for something bigger than just a plot or a storyline. They pulled something out of us, their art. Their art pulled something out of us that we didn't consider before. Hayden was the Nashville star that everyone admired. She brought the riffs of Southern country music to the screen and shed spotlight on a people that society saw as hicks or country bumpkins. To the viewer, they felt seen. To Hayden, she felt ignored. She felt invisible under the lights, the makeup, the billboards, and the celebrity. But you didn't see it. You missed her most vulnerable moments because you didn't want to see your childhood differently. You didn't want to believe that the pressures and struggles she faced came almost directly from providing you entertainment, from the body shaming, addiction, and sadly even postpartum depression. Tell me, when did her struggles get to be too uncomfortable for you? So that's the piece I'm working on for Substack. I've still got some more to write. But this piece is inspired by Hayden Panettiere and the way that we value people in our lives when they're here versus when they're gone. So hopefully this will resonate with someone and it'll be something cool that you guys will enjoy. So there's that. But thank you guys. I hope to have that done by the end of the week. The middle of next week. So hopefully I'll be posting this by Wednesday. But thank you. Amanda, I gotta lock in with you because I got something for you. And you got something for me. And I have been so busy that I have not locked in, but I promise you I didn't forget. I got something for you though. What's the question, Sam? It better not be no crazy shit. I will. I am going to get you guys, I'm going to give you guys the positive piece. And obviously, you guys know, it's going to come from my favorite book. Oh, the places you'll go. There's fun to be done. There are points to be scored. There are games to be won. And the magical things you can do with that ball will make you the winningest winner of all. Fame. You'll be famous as can be, with the whole wide world watching you win on TV. Except when they don't, because sometimes they won't. I'm afraid that sometimes you'll play lonely games too. Games you can't win because you'll play against you. That is one of my favorite lines from that book. And I say that because it ties kind of right into exactly what we're saying, what I was just talking about. Sometimes we are not willing to see the ugly parts of us because we think it makes us less beautiful. Sometimes we're not willing to see the part of us that might not see everybody the same, that might not value experiences the same, that might be comfortable but not best for us. Right? There's these spaces that we go to in ourselves where we tell ourselves these partial truths so that we're okay going to sleep at night. There are pieces of ourselves that we tend to tuck away because if they actually came out, there would be a part of us the world might see. I need you to get comfortable with those places because they're not as ugly as you think. If you come from the generation I come from, what you'll know is that a lot of those things you find to be so ugly about yourself were things that were forced upon you. You were forced to be a people pleaser. So I absolutely did. You were forced to be a people pleaser. You were forced to always be kind, even in moments where people weren't kind to you. We look at how much pain we can take as a strength. But we don't look at standing up for ourselves that way. It comes off as disrespectful or rude. We should be silent. We should reserve. For who? Because I don't feel any better when I do. So today, I want you to remember that the biggest battles you'll ever fight in this life will be with yourself. And you have to be willing to fight those. You have to be willing to say, I don't have to make them comfortable. I don't have to make them feel safe and I don't feel safe. I don't have to stay in spaces that I'm not wanted. I don't have to stay in spaces where I'm not valued. My body belongs to me. My mind belongs to me. My spirit belongs to me. I'm not giving that to anyone who doesn't earn it. We've all been taught sharing is caring. Sharing what? And who does that help? So today, the battles that are coming your way, that you're fighting with yourself, take off your armor. Because I'd much rather you submit to you than submit to everyone else who told you they deserved your submission. You matter more than you think you do. And I see you, and I love you. And I value you so much, friend. And remember, when you're fighting those battles, sometimes you and yourself are going to get tired. Y'all going to run out of breath. Sit down and have a conversation. Get through that piece. Get through that piece. Because that person sitting on the inside is only fighting to get out. They're not fighting against you. They're fighting the piece of you that doesn't deserve to be hurt in the first place. So on that note, friends, let's get those unicorns in the chat. Flood my chat with sparkle, friends. And we will close this thing out as we do every single night. If you don't have enough sparkle today, my loves, that is okay. I'm here if you need me. Don't forget, you don't have to fight this battle alone. I love you. And I'm here. But take some time for yourself. If you do have enough sparkle today, sprinkle some into this dark ass world. We can always use your light. And as always, my sweet friends, in a world full of jackasses, always remember to be a unicorn. Good night, my loves. I'll see you tomorrow.